All right. Welcome everybody to the Team Fortress TV live stream. We are here today with Virgil
Hello.
and Shears on production. I am Jakey, and we are going to be casting the Dorsia froyotech game today. It is the quarterfinals of playoffs. First round, it's going to be double elim, and I'm excited to see this game actually today.
I'm looking forward to it as well. I think while Froyo is the clear favorite tonight, I'm excited to see what Dorsia can pull out.
Dorsia is ringing Chunky tonight, right? I think that's what
That's what
who
it
their
looks
demo
like,
is.
yes.
Okay, so I think both. So it looks like Froyo is readied up. It looks like we're just gonna be waiting on Dorsia here. But what do you predict this game's gonna be like, Virgil?
Ooh. Well, on Gully Wash, just looking at Habib demo, I think, well, Chunky's an incredible demo. He has great DM. I think that Habib's gonna roll pretty hard on this map. I'd want to give it 5-1 for froyotech on Gully Wash.
On goalie, I was actually gonna say something really close to that. I was gonna say like 5-1, 5-2. I do
Mhm.
think Chunky is a really good demo, but at the same time, I think Habib is just a god, and I think it's gonna be definitely come down to the that matchup there.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Do you want to go ahead and take a look at the stats for us today, Virgil?
Sure. Who do we want to look at first? Banny and Branslam?
Yeah, take a look at that.
Alright, just looking at Banny and Branslam's stats, you see that Branslam actually does have an average kill per minute high. Oh, we're actually starting right now, so we'll have to look at the stats later.
All right. So we're getting into the first mid here.
Right. How about you take this first mid, Jakey?
All right. So Habib is actually looking like he's a little bit faster here than Chunky, but he is showing up with a little bit less HP, doing really good damage. But we do see Marmalou getting really good height on there. But it does look like Jay is actually taking a lot of damage right now in their elbow, and it looks like Marmalou's Zilly going in for a really fat bomb, gets a 2K actually, goes down to Eric, and it does look like Froyo is actually going to lose this first mid, and they actually end up dropping Skis there, ends up getting caught out and gets forced back into, might actually even be last year, seeing as how weak Abib is, but he looks like he's going to set up a defensive trap and just going to start heading back to last.
Yeah, that was a really strong showing coming out of Dorsia. You saw that Ash baited on the low ground near their elbow as Patty bombed straight towards the blue big door. And once Patty was there, he was just met with Ash, and there wasn't much he could do. After that, Zilly had a good bomb on both the soldiers of blue, and or on red, excuse me, and was able to clean up both of them. And now we're looking at a full Uber ad coming in to the red last.
So it does look like there are some really good traps placed up in River here that have still yet to be cleared. He actually does end up deading, but Zilly actually ends up living somehow. Had a really good buff. And it does look like it's actually setting into a little bit of a stalemate, but I think Ash and Zilly might actually end up going in for a sack here. Oh, they actually end up using in River here. Bombed their demo in, Chunky getting some really good damage, but the denial from the Pyro absolutely canceling this Uber right now. And ends up
really
killing
good rocket
Marmalade.
coming from Zilly. He had a great upward direct right onto Habib.
Does look like they actually end up wiping there though. Cookie Jake actually ends up living though and gets out, so it does. And Ski's actually going down there, so they're actually going to be at a disad here, and they're going to try and cap second, but they might actually have to play this really passively now that Dorsia has forward spawns and they have huge Uberad now.
I think Cookie Jake living there was huge, and they should be wanting to refight on the second here. Let's see how they want to take it. Cookie Jake may actually just want to wait till they get Uber, being at 80% already. Skis is only at 10%. It's a pretty juicy Uber ad. They're already rotating to big door as we see Marmalou and Bransam splatting it out. Marmalou's going to rotate away. Ooh, but they're going up to elbow again. Was it a bait? Did they just try and bait Habib to watch big door a bit closely? And now they're getting through choke relatively free. They use through. Cookie Jake getting forced by Patty. We're gonna have to see. They aren't gonna get much with this Uber, unfortunately. Cookie Jake still being low out of the fight entirely as both the soldiers from froyotech bomb in. The soldiers from froyotech don't get much for themselves, but the scouts do, with both Marmalou and Zilly going down on the blue team.
So both soldiers actually end up dying on both teams, but Ash actually ends up going down there. Habib actually hits a really good pipe on him. They're coming in here, bombing into mid. They're gonna take mid for free here, and it actually is looking like Skis is going to leapfrog them here. They have 90%. Habib is laying some traps down, but I think they're just going to end up taking this in through choke. And it looks like they are ending up taking this through choke. We have Zilly hiding there, maybe trying to get the force here, but he's taking a lot of damage from Ban.
Ooh, he
forced off of the high ground and beats the jump, yeah.
And he manages to get out clean. That's good.
Yeah, it looks like they actually end up just giving this to them. Might try coming in here, taking the exchange. Zilly gets in, trying to get the force on Skis. Doesn't actually get it. Gets taken down by Banny. And they actually end up using their getting forced by Patty. But he ends up actually, they end up just leaving. And it's actually really bad for them. Skis uses to try and chase in and get the kill here. They start getting into last, but Banny is in, and the Uber has ended. And they are going to have spawns up here in just a few seconds. Cookie Jake, really weak, has to live here, but ends up going down to Patty. Patty and Banny getting really good picks, but Zilly gets a really good one, and Habib also gets a pick, and that's the first round for froyotech.
Yeah, I think that one can all just be chalked up to the Uber coming out of the blue team without being able to get the force onto Skis. Cookie Jake used up Trap trying to take the exchange, but Skis just had to hit one surf back, and the rest of his team wasn't able to get in. Zilly getting caught out as we're going into the second mid. Looks like the demos are arriving at about the same time, Habib being slightly more hurt, both trying to trade damage on Big Door, neither getting much damage done, and instantly, as we see both teams just take their respective sides. Just a bit of spam being exchanged as the mid goes on when we see Zilly bomb up onto the red side and hitting nice rockets onto Skis. Well, Chunky also follows up with some good sticky damage. Zilly is exchanged out along with Marmaloo, but Habib and Jay both go down, and not only Banny and Patty are alive for froyotech. It's a really nice bomb coming out of Zilly with some clean rockets as Patty goes for the high bomb onto Cookie Jake, but just gets melted as soon as he lands with some great stickies coming out from Chunky.
I think, honestly, a lot of those mid-fights are just down to Zilly just absolutely destroying Skis and Cookie Jake living and being able to take it into... so Zilly, getting those really fat bombs onto Skis and getting really good damage on them and actually taking... killing him there and letting Cookie Jake get free full percent now. And now they're going to be able to actually take this into last, hopefully for free here. But they are letting it close a little bit here. Branson actually ends up going down to a trap there.
Ooh, that's going to stifle the push greatly. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see Cookie Jake and team back out and just opt to hold on second and wait for Uber Steven out. Jay's actually already getting very aggressive up top. We're going to have to see if he wants to come in and go for a force on the Cookie Jake to give his team Uber at. As Skis is coming up on the Uber very shortly.
I definitely do think that losing those two players, Branson and Marmaloo, was definitely a huge downfall for that push there, as they could have easily pushed that in there if they wouldn't have dropped those two players. But I think Cookie Jake might have not gotten the call to use there, but we end up actually he ended up dropping Grand Slam to that trap there. Really good reaction time. Marmaloo actually ends up going down to a bomb or to a trap from Habib there, and they're playing a little bit passive here, playing on bats. It looks like it's settling into more of another stalemate, but the Froyo, it looks like they're getting ready to push Uber up into River right now. Patty's getting in, gets the force on Cookie Jake, and they're starting to try and salvage this right now, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get anything, and they're going to have to leave and play this a little bit more passively now on second.
Yeah, great soldier work coming in from Patty there. Cookie Jake not able to dodge those rockets in that tight confinement of the up top above region area. We're going to have to see how Blue wants to play this as froyotech swaps their off classes for a more standard composition and begins rotating up top as we see Jay, Skis, and Banny all taking up a river. Ash is pretty hurt coming in. He might get caught out. No, he barely lives and takes an arrow from Cookie Jake before getting out. We see the soldiers bombing in, and Skis actually gets forced by Marmaloo on the flank. Really great wrap coming out of the Blue roamer.
Marmaloo did actually really clutch that situation right there. Froyo is going to be able to cap second right now, but they're just going to get leapfrog right now as Cookie Jake is coming in with Brand Slam, but does actually end up getting bombed by Jay and Patty. Zilly taking lots of damage, but Cookie Jake still has Uber, still milking it a little bit. Brand Slam is in by himself. He needs an arrow here. He might end up getting caught out. Zilly ends up going down, but Brand Slam eats the arrow, gets double bombed, ends up taking down two soldiers though.
And Habib, they managed to catch out Habib during that whole exchange. The soldiers were overextending a little towards the choke, just trying to get that force out before the blue team could rather get in. And then Habib actually ends up getting caught out in the shutter, overextending just a bit.
And it looks like Banny and Skis actually didn't realize that they got in through lobby and just started pushing into river, and it looks like we're going to go to the third mid here.
That was
Definitely.
a nice play coming out from Blue right there, converting that into a round as we go on to the next mid. You can take this one, Jakey.
All right, so it looks like both demos are here and healthy. Zilly's going for a really high bomb, but does end up bombing onto his side. Jay opting to bomb Cookie Jake. Cookie Jake actually ends up getting caught out and dying right there. They need to keep Skis alive on this mid so that way they can push into last effectively here. Marmalou getting really good spam, ends up getting Habib. Habib goes down, Eric. Brand Slam goes down to Eric. Ash taking lots of damage right now. Skis does end up living this mid, and they actually end up getting Ash as well, and they're going to regress back in here. And losing Habib there is going to make it a little bit hard to push into last, but they are going to be able to take second here off this huge Uber ad, and might be able to push in last if they're smart about it.
I really enjoyed that bomb from Marmalou there as Habib got caught up in his own elbow with a nice wall splash to finish him off as he dropped towards drop down. Almost going towards drop down to pick up Skis, but Banny was right there with him. As we now see how Red wants to try and take this into second. They end up getting both soldiers. Marmalou bombs into the choke to try and pick up Skis, but ends up just finding Habib's stickies instead of a medic. Likewise, you did see Zilly getting taken down by Banny, and then as Banny goes forward in the lobby, he does get picked off, and now it's a 5v4 with both soldiers of blue coming up right now, and the Uber being completely denied by Ash.
Ooh, the pipes.
Ooh.
Pipes from Habib, but he does end up going down there in Skis with no Uber left. The Uber actually does come out from Cookie Jake. He did live long enough just to get that Uber and force them out, and actually are going to be able to take second here. They're playing really passively here, but they do have numbers advantage with Jay and Habib being down, taking lots of spam right now. Patty taking lots of damage. Marmalou does go down though to Banny. Skis getting chased really weak right now. They are getting good trades right now. It is looking pretty favorable in Froyo, but they do end up dropping Jay there. Both soldiers down. And Ash actually ends up going down there as well, so now it's looking like it's going to be another re-aggression from Habib, or from Froyo here. And they're going to try building out this Uber, maybe try and do the Froyo Uber and try pushing with 10% ad, but we're going to have to see how that goes.
I have to wonder if Banny peeked aggressively with Skis right then to just see if they had ad, but it doesn't look like they're positioning themselves to take this ad in. Or maybe they are. No, it looks like they're just setting up for a sack. As Ubers do even out, and we're going to have to see how Froyo tries to break this last hold coming out of Dorsia.
Really good hold here, but the only off class I'm seeing is actually Ash on Pyro. It is a pretty good off class, but we are going to have to see what he can do on this Uber. We do see that both the Roamer and Flank Scout are in water right now. Eric is trying to go up, maybe try and get some cap time on the point. Nope, he ends up backing out through water right now.
Looks like he just wanted to get an arrow from his medic. Patty is still in water. I'm expecting a bomb to come out from Patty, either from lower or from the entrance to water onto Cookie Drake. As Eric gets cap time.
Yeah, Habib actually does end up getting Zilly there, who was watching water. Patty getting on point, getting really good cap time. They get on point and start doing lots of damage. They actually end up dropping all three players in water and have to back up here. Banny's starting to back up here, but they might actually end up taking this Uber exchange. They go in, try getting really good damage, try getting cap time as well. They milk the Uber for really long and end up actually using it after Cookie Jake does. Banny, half health, might have to get out here. But we do see Skis have very low HP and might actually have to leave, seeing as how Habib did get caught out there. Banny does end up picking up Ash, but looks like they're actually starting to re-aggress here. Marmalou destroys Patty with a really good rocket right there. But it is even numbers, and we're gonna have to see what the teams can do. It looks like it's just gonna settle into another stalemate here.
Yeah, I did really like the flashes coming out from both medics, as Eric actually gets a lot of time on point before Marmalou finally stops him. And now you only see Froyo's having two players as both medic and demo back up, with them dropping 4 players to get that cap time. And Habib just kind of rolled Brand Slam a bit, as Chunky trades Brand Slam out for Patty. This is a bit favorable for froyotech, I'd want to say, but Dorsia has already gotten positioning on second. They're locking down chokes. Zilly dies to lock down a choke. Not what you want to see coming out of the blue pocket, as Marmalou goes to take his place and try and stuff the choke to prevent froyotech from coming in. It is even Ubers as Red comes in with an exchange. It seems to be pretty even, with Red flashing quite a bit more here, and Cookie Jake keeping it on his demo. We're going to have to see how they try and stuff the choke and retake the space after. Chunky taking great space as the bombs come in from Marmalou. However, they've already dropped Chunky and Ash. And now it's 3 down for blue as red
Oh,
cleans
the
up
serve
the
from
fly.
Cookie Jake!
That was insane.
That was insane. The
That was
clutch.
That's actually, he should not be alive. That's just Cookie Jake's amazing mechanics coming through in full force. Let's go down, and now it's gonna be Cookie Jake. He baits the point a bit and gets time for Marmalade again, but unfortunately that is around. There's nothing more Cookie Jake could do, as he may be playing perfect DF2, but not much that can be done after Froyo gets all 5 kills.
Really unfortunate that he hit that amazing surf, but not able to really capitalize off it. But looks like we are settling into the 4th mid of the game here, 2-1 in favor of froyotech. Marmalade trying to spam out Habib here. Looks like Jay is actually trying to flank them. Ash is starting to chase him. Zilla getting really good damage. Jay's going to end up cratering here. Does end up getting taken out by Brand Slam. Eric ends up getting Zilly, and Marmalou goes down to Banny. Eric ends up going down to Ash.
Banny was so low there, and unfortunately Brand Slam just wasn't able to convert the frag as Cookie Jake and Brand Slam meet up, but they're on the wrong side of mid. We're going to see if they can make it. Cookie Jake slithers away, but Brand Slam does go down, and Habib is on the chase. Cookie Jake's hiding, and he's caught out from Banny. If he had lived there, that would have been insane. But unfortunately, Banny had the stench of blood in the air, and he was not going to let Cookie Jake live there. As we now see Red having full Uber Red as they cap middle, and they should be pushing second very soon. Marmalade's hiding above the choke. We are going to have to see if we can get anything. Just spamming a few rockets, jumps back, and nothing's quite happening just as Froyo poises himself to push. All of blue is pretty passive on their last. Brand Slam setting up a gun and Ash sniping as Marmalade backs out of second, and Froyo should take this incredibly cleanly with no one there to contest them.
They do it. Yeah, like you were saying, there was not really much contention here, seeing as how Cookie Jake did end up going down there, and now it's pretty much, it was full Uber dis ad. They're just letting the Ubers close now, but it looks like they are trying to do something in here. Jay tries getting in and doing some damage, ends up actually living, but he does get lots of damage in on Zilly. Doesn't really matter though. Ash is getting ready to deny the Uber. Sitting there, completely denies the Uber. He's completely shutting down this entire Uber from Habib. Does take a lot of damage though, and ends up going down to Habib's pipes. But it doesn't really matter, seeing as how Froyo's Uber did get completely denied there. And Cookie Jake is going to have full Uber and might actually be able to push out of here. But it is a little bit hard to push out of this last, especially with 1 down and an engineer. But we do see Ash come back up onto Scout here, hopefully to try and push out of this last.
I do want to say, when Froyo tried to take that Uber in, there were some nice rockets coming out of the blue soldiers as they juggled Habib, which led to Ash getting a really clean stuff, as blue now walks upper, taking their medic up top with Chunky sitting in lobby, denying any potential backhappers. Brand Slam is really far forward as he tries to push Jay up the high ground, successfully doing so. Jay's going to have to get an arrow. Both scouts playing high ground to deny the soldiers as well, as Zilly, I believe, jumps forward. But
Jay's gardens this season have been unstoppable. The man is a Trojan, man. I'm just gonna say that.
Jay is slowly turning the Market Gardener meta. It's insane how many clean picks he's able to get with just the shovel alone.
Alright, so it looks like we are settling into another stalemate here. Both full Uber. Just gonna. Oh, and Cookie Jake
dropping
goes
the
Patty.
Lower. No. Oh, you hate to see it. Patty just sneaking in through what looks to be wood, peeking main, and just getting a clean side lane. He's still standing there, trying to take pot shots. He does take a shot at the gun, allowing Habib to hit a pipe on it to clean it up, as he's now used the Uber in, and there's the half.
Really good half by Froyo. I still think some of the highlights were the Jay Garden and the Cookie Jake surf. Even though the surf didn't really lead to much success in the end, I think it was definitely a highlight of what Cookie Jake can do on Medic.
Oh, of course.
It was definitely a lot of really interesting plays happening there. It looked like some textbook TF2 for the most part, but definitely you see the skill in Invite compared to other divs, and it's really interesting. It's really amazing to see these players and their mechanics and what they can do.
Yeah, of course. I always love seeing what medics can get away with at these higher divs. Cookie Jake obviously being one of the favorites to watch. But it is pretty sad when you pull off a surf like that as a medic main myself, and then you just lose the round. But not much can be done in a situation like that. But again, then you did see the J Market Garden. I think that one is just
definitely
something you can never get. You can never get tired of seeing it.
It was an air garden as well, but
Oh,
looks
we're
like
going into the second half
Oh
already.
yeah, already going to second half. All right, so we're gonna settle into the first mid of the second half. You want to take it away, Virgil?
Sure, let me take this one. Alright, both demos rolling up. Both should be about even health as they arrive to mid right at the same time. Chunky getting out some damage. Both of them spamming the big doors. A little bit of damage on Skis, a little bit of damage on the Cookie Jake, but nothing incredible to follow up on. Jay does bomb into the elbow, but he's met with Ash. He has to back up, as we're now going to see both teams play their sides. Marmalou dropping to the low ground as spam is just being exchanged. No one's getting crazy aggressive, as Patty actually starts going towards the drop down of the blue team. And you do see Branson, Marmalou, and Zilly all going down from good aggression and type spam coming from Habib. Cookie Jake does get out with his scout Ash, but unfortunately the mid is lost, and it looks like second should be turning out in the favor of froyotech as well. We're going to see if Banny wants to try something aggressively before blue gets their spawns, as he's already peeking into last through river. He's met with Ash as they trade a bit of scout stuns, but nothing comes of it, as we're now going to be going into a stalemate.
Like you said, it is settling into a stalemate. Both full Ubers. Cookie Jake was able to escape there with Ash, so both teams are looking like they're going to be able to hold this. We're just going to have to see. Oh, Habib actually ends up picking up a kill on Ash. This might actually be grounds for pushing here. Looks like they're going to get ready to Uber in through River right now. Getting really good spam or getting some stickies on the point from Habib.
It looks like they're setting up for a point play where Patty's going to bait the point, potentially jump off of it, but he's getting met by Marmalou. He does take down Marmalou as Zilly also goes down to Jake, and now the back cap is starting. However, Cookie Jake does end up forcing as Jay bombs in. I'm not quite sure what was the prompt that caused him to use, however, he did end up popping, and now as he pops so early, the entirety of the froyotech Uber gets in, cleans up those 4 kills, and the spawners aren't going to be enough to stop this. As another round in favor of froyotech.
Definitely a few mistakes on that last there. Ash ends up going down to Habib. Habib ends up getting really good pipes, and Zilly actually ends up going down to Patty with an upward direct from Patty pushing into that last there. But looks like we are settling into the 6th mid of the game here. Zilly looks like they're both settling for their default mids here. Taking really good spam. Patty's really low, but getting an arrow. Looks like Jay's actually opting to play in big door right now. Marmalou going for a really high bomb. Doesn't really get anything. Gets shut down by Patty and Banny right there.
The health on blue is not looking too good. Except Skis goes down to stickies from Chunky, meaning you're going to see Cookie Jake escape with Brand Slam. They might be met with Banny and Big Door, but it doesn't look like Banny's actually going to be able to do anything. There was a lot of damage on the blue side. However, Chunky pulling off some miracle work in order to get Skis, giving his team the Uber advantage, but they have to use it to retake second.
I know that earlier we were saying how the difference between Habib and Chunky would be huge on this, and I definitely think that that's really showing now. And not only that, but I also think the difference between Cookie Jake and Skis is also showing. Seeing Cookie Jake survives mids, just his survivability is a lot higher. Even though they do end up losing those mids, I feel like he survives a lot more than Skis. But it does look like they might end up coming in. They're coming into mid right now. Might end up taking this exchange. Cookie Jake playing a little bit passive right now.
Patty's on spy.
Patty's on spy, going for the kill. He might end up getting it. He's going in. He's so close. Come on, just get it, Patty. He gets the drop on Cookie Jake. Oh, he chased the kill across the whole middle point.
He was just following Cookie Jake, flailing his little knife around for so long, but eventually it does connect as Cookie Jake stutter steps a bit before entering the chip, letting Patty secure that drop. Oh man.
I could not display like how spy as a class in general, except for that one specific play, chasing with his knife out and trying to stab him, but he does end up getting the stab there. Marmalou goes for the hide here, but it doesn't really matter because they ended up using, and Bandy's getting really good damage on him. Marmalou does end up actually getting Patty there.
Yeah, that's a really great trade considering they had already used through the doors. It's something you'd really expect to happen for a roamer as he goes through an already Ubered team. However, Zilly and Ash are already in on a mid, trying to fight the team by themselves as Chunky and Cookie Jake are backing up. They're down 2 players, and Ash is incredibly hurt. And where is that? Oh, he's already got out there big door. I thought he might have been behind. However, Zilly is actually the one behind. He's all the way back in near the big door of red, going for its choke. He's going to be taking a 2v or 3v1 rather, and just gets mulched by the scouts, being finished off by Patty.
All right, so it looks like Cookie Jake might want to take this Uber in. It looks like the Dorsia's getting a little bit antsy here, but maybe they start playing this a little bit more passive. They're letting the Uber close as the time goes, and they might actually end up opting for doing that. I think they can Froyo can smell the fear on them, seeing as how they're getting ready to walk forward here now. Now with the Ubers evened, starting to hold a little bit more aggressive here. Gonna have to see which team is willing to use in first and try and get some picks.
Are there any plays you're hoping to see come out of either team as they try to break this stalemate?
We do see Eric and Patty end up getting behind. Patty is in, getting really good damage on Branslam, but Branslam completely shuts him down. Chunky ends up getting Eric as well, and now they're getting ready to push in here confidently. Now it's a 4v6. Banny does end up getting Marmaloo there, though. Zilly on Skis forces
great
Skeezy.
bomb from Zilly, knowing exactly where Skis was in that tight area around the mini pack on their own choke side, and they end up getting a clean force with Blue ending up forcing the J later. However, they have a much better Uber. There is one point of concern here, and that's the fact that they do have numbers out for froyotech. However, they're going to have to try and fight them before spawners can get in and before a backup can happen, or a flank from Banny, actually. As he tries to come in and get on the Cookie Jake, however, he's just met by both scouts on Blue, and now the mid is swapped into Blue's favor as, Patty just gets blasted in the air and mulched by Brand Slam.
I definitely think that Cookie Jake's or Dorsia's Uber would have been a little bit better there, but I think Chunky ended up beefing most of his pipes, so it was a little bit scuffed there and had to really salvage that situation. But the scouts on Dorsia just beasting and able to clean up both the soldiers and do a lot of work for Dorsia, but it does look like they're starting to re-aggress.
Importantly,
does have a little bit of Uber at here, but they end up dropping Marmaloo and Brand Slam there in a dry push, and it looks like they're getting ready to re-aggress this here. They do have 20% ad, 10% ad. Looks like Jay is opting to go lower, tries getting behind them here.
We actually also see Eric getting all the way behind from Bigger, met with Zilly, getting good damage on him, but Patty bombs him as well. Zilly in the single digits, only 4 health. As the exchange happens and choke. Zilly's not going to be doing much in this fight as he's trying to escape with that 4 health, as the rest of the blue team is also hurt and choke. Zilly's still 4 health and elbow as he finally gets a bow from Cookie Jake. Doesn't look like Blue wants to refight this, knowing Ash is already going to die, as they now just try and escape with their lives to their shutter.
It's actually kind of crazy that Cookie Jake got out of that alive, seeing as how he got wrapped from every direction on that mid-fight, but his team was able to be there and protect him while he did get out, but Brand Slam does end up getting Jay, and then Zilly ends up going down to Habib there. Patty's he's actually behind in River, and does actually end up helping getting the pick on Chunky. He's still alive, gets arrowed by Skis, hitting really good damage on Brand Slam, and then also Cookie Jake ends up getting caught in here.
Cookie Jake was just meleeing Skis, bringing him down to 28 health. Oh no.
Our control point is being captured.
Cookie Jake definitely has his melee skills up, almost getting the kill on Skis there.
Right, as now he did end up going down, and there's still 3 down for Blue as Froyo begins to take their Uber into last, full advantage. You already see Patty going towards point through water, as Skis does end up getting forced in River a little bit early as they try and walk in. Marmaloo trying to hide in the corner but getting sniffed out by Habib, as now they're just mulching everyone on points. He's picking up a frag for himself, as that's going to be map 1, 5-1 in favor of froyotech.
Like you said, I definitely think that it was in favor of froyotech there, just because Habib, this is definitely a huge demo and soldier-centric map, and I definitely think that even though Dorsia does have the better soldier in Marmaloo, I think that Habib just outclasses Chunky in a lot of ways, especially in his DM and his ability to call his main calling ability as well, along with Banny's help. And but I do think that Cookie Jake definitely was the MVP on Dorsia, giving their team a huge fighting chance and surviving a lot of seemingly impossible circumstances and living a lot more than I thought he would, and having a lot more Ubers than again I thought he would. So I think definitely Cookie Jake was putting in the work in that Gully Wash map.
Yeah, I think that Gully Wash just is the classic story of froyotech. Froyo is incredibly good at just seeing the smallest advantages, whether it be one soldier pick, a scout pick, or maybe even just damage add, and they know exactly how they want to push off of it. There were multiple times, for example, where one soldier may have been down and Froyo just shoved through choke because they knew that if they got one soldier behind, their other soldier on the blue team would have had to go back and deal with him, meaning only Chunky would have been at choke and they would be able to bust through rather easily. You saw many situations like that, and ultimately, Dorsia just couldn't follow up and respond properly because they were just always at that disadvantage in those fights. However, there were many strong showings from all the individual players. Obviously, Cookie Jake is a favorite, but I think Zilly's soldier gameplay was pretty fun to watch with a lot of really great bombs onto froyotech throughout the map.
I definitely think so too, and I think even though we didn't see a whole lot of amazing plays from the scouts, I think the scouts on both teams are really solid. Ash being a very classic player along with Banny in that regard, and Eric and Brandslam being, just amazing in general as well. So I think definitely the scouts were also amazing that game as well, getting really good picks when they needed to. But I do think that Ash ended up getting caught out a lot more than he wanted to on those fights, especially on his last holds when Ash would go down in really unfortunate situations, and Froyo, like you were saying, how they would go in on even like super small advantages, they would take advantage of the pick on Ash and go in and just mulch everybody on the point and end up taking those lasts.
How about we take a look at the logs real quick? Any interesting stats you want to point out?
To be honest, no.
I will.
Go ahead.
Habib's damage is something of note, with Habib almost getting close to 400 DPM, 365 over the two halves. Incredible work coming out from Habib, but to be expected of the long-time Froyo demo man. He even went 22 and 10, which is something you don't normally see out of demos at lower divisions. Normally, they might have great damage, but their KD isn't always something to behold. However, Habib having a clean 2.2 KD.
Definitely really good stats by them. The stats look pretty good to me, but I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to see what Dorsia can do on product. I'm hoping to see a little bit more of a resistance here and see more amazing Zilly gameplay and hopefully some more Jay Gardens. I think those are probably my highlights of any match Jay is in.
Yeah, just scrolling down to look at the medic stats, just out of curiosity, I am kind of curious how Dorsia is adjusting to playing with Chunky. It is a demo-centric map, so we do see Chunky top healing by a smidge. However, normally we do see Brandslam on Dorsia taking quite a bit of heals. From the logs I saw, he usually takes about 30%, so I wonder if the less heals could have any impact, or if they're just still getting used to Chunky. Banny going 28 and 3. Wait, 3 deaths? He died less than his medic.
That's actually crazy.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that. I just assumed Banny rolled, but how does Banny go 28 and 3? 3 deaths on Gullywash, even if it's just Pocket Scout, is insane. It's usually a pretty high death map, I believe. Wow,
Definitely, I definitely think that too. And I think another thing that was huge on froyotech's part was I felt like they played both of their soldiers and Eric on flank, and opted to take tank Habib most of the game and have him just force his stickies down choke points the whole game, because a lot of the times I would see Jay and Patty bomb from behind along with Eric follow in to try and do almost a 3-man sack on those mid, especially when they were going into that mid fight when Cookie Jake seemed like he wouldn't be able to get out of that situation, but you could see that they got sandwiched from all three directions, and it looks like we're actually starting this game on product here. Do you want to go ahead and take the first mid?
Alright, let's see it. We're going to be looking at product a little bit different than our Gullywash map as we have seen previously. We're going to have to see how both demos roll out, with Chunky favoring going main to cliff side, while Habib does roll out fully on the cliff side. As we start to look out, Chunky trading off really good damage with Habib. Habib pushing up into caution, trying to zone Chunky out, not getting much damage on him as both soldiers on blue go behind, prompting Dorsia to walk forward. Cookie Jake does get bombed and gets 2-rocketed by Jay, and now we'll have to see how blue converts it. They did end up getting both Patty and Jay for that, as well as Skis going down, meaning blue does look like they're winning the mid. However, Marmblue's only on a sliver of health, and he does get cleaned up by Vanny. Really great showing coming out of blue. Even if they did lose their Cookie Jake early, it was nice to see the aggression following up on Marmaloo and Zilly's bombs. Ooh, but now they're all dying after the point is swapped, meaning their spawns aren't going to be great. We're going to have to see Froyo swap the point, not having to delay for anyone, as now it's going to be even Ubers, Froyo holding the point. We're going to have to see how Dorsia wants to push this.
I mean, froyotech has been amazing on this map since their, creation. So it's going to be definitely an uphill battle for Dorsia here, but we do see Zilly bombing onto Pride here, trying to get some good spam. He does end up getting forced off of it, bombs onto it again. Looks like it's just setting into another team fight. Marmaloo is in deep, gets in on the pack. Ash is actually behind as well with them. Looks like Marmaloo is bombing from house, really weak, trying to get the HP. He's just playing behind them right now. Ash ends up going down to Jay. And it looks like Marmaloo's trying to get something done, but the entirety of froyotech is just denying him right now. He ends up living with 3 HP and ends up getting out there, but Skis does end up getting forced. Cookie Jake, 98%. Looks like they're going to try and take this up cliff right now.
Yeah, great soldier work coming in from Zilly right there. He got in right as Marmaloo was bombing out, so people were still looking at Marmaloo as he jumped away, letting Zilly get in clean and getting a couple good rockets off onto Skis. Now Blue has full Uber and they managed to flop the point. However, Cookie Jake does force as Froyo drops 3, making this a classic, what looks to be a 3-man. However, Skis is a little overextended. He's probably gonna die. Oop, and that's a pause. That's not what you want to see for Skis as a pause comes in. Obviously, the actual server pause at a different time. This is just, the pause is happening in real time, but the STV that we're watching is 3 minutes behind. So I'd imagine we see Skis die here, but for us, what it looks like, a very sad Skis.
I definitely, like, in these pause moments where, especially on Scout, it's honestly just hilarious because you see the shot lined up. Ash is just dead-eyeing Skis right now, ready to take that last meat shot, but he's being held back by the pause. So it looks like he's definitely going to end up getting that pick there. Even if Banny hits a really good one meat shot on him, there's no way that Ash might end up miss. I mean, it could happen. It's TF2. Beef happens, but I definitely think that Skis is going to go down there. Cookie Jake is alive. It's probably going to be, and he does, like I said.
Goodbye, Skis. I suppose let's try to fight Banny. Banny going very low as the scouts on blue. Ooh, my HUD is going to be frozen, but for now we're just going to have to see the scouts from blue back up. Banny was rather low as he escaped, as now Cookie Jake is going to have a pretty decent Uber ad. Looks like he's only at 30, but a 30 ad is still great nonetheless, so we should be seeing a dry fight coming in from froyotech. As all their players get up, they start to walk forward on cliffside.
Like you said, it is looking like a dry fight here, but Jay does end up going down to Chunky right there, and they end up taking actually a lot of damage here as well. Banny taking lots of damage as well. Eric goes down to Marmaloo's bomb. Patty ends up bombing Marmaloo right there as well. Zilly getting really good damage on Habib, ends up actually getting Habib, might actually end up getting Skis here. Skis is caught out and by himself. Zilly opting to play Minecraft instead of shooting some rockets, but it looks like he ran out of ammo there maybe instead, but as we see in chat. But it looks
from
Zilly. But Cookie Jake does have 30% ad here and might actually end up taking it here. Chunky really weak right now.
It doesn't look like he wants to. Froyo was edging the point, however, Cookie Jake playing extremely passive. Not really ready to take that Uber, and as Froyo continues to edge the point, Cookie Jake does get forced but from some great scams coming out of Froyo. As he takes it forward, Chunky very low. Ransom going really deep. He might die for this. No, it looks like Ransom's going to be able to leave. Zilly also trying to get out. He's very low. Zilly's going to go down. This is where the pause happened. Not too sure what prompted the pause, but it was a tactical pause.
Pause.
According to Ransom, with Zilly saying Habib afterwards. As now, because Cookie Jake forced, we're seeing Froyo take the point with the threat of their full Uber at. Dorsia was already down one, so they didn't want to contest too much without Marmaloo. As their players come up, they're going to go forward. Except we're going to be seeing a 4-man come out very soon, right after Ash gets up. They are sitting at the base of cliff, which, knowing froyotech does seem a bit risky. Actually, they're already getting players in. Zilly does go down. They're taking space on the froyotech is all the way on their concrete. I'm not too sure if Zilly dragged them all the way back there.
Zilly pushed them all the way back, hitting really good rockets on the Skis, and Marmaloo does the same thing.
Marmaloo getting a great force on the Skis.
And so that is honestly going to be the thing. That's the exact thing that Dorsia needed there. And it looks like all of froyotech is willing to bomb for Cookie Jake right now. Patty's in the air.
Great
Jason
movement
here.
coming from Cookie Jake, but he does force to save Zilly, not wanting to drop his soldier. But he knows the Ubers are already not going to be a large ad for Steve. Might as well get the force out of the way. As now Zilly's at the base of clip, facing off against Eric with heals.
Ooh,
Cookie
it's
Jake backs up, but Patty bombs in on the point, picking up both Chunky and Cookie Jake.
Fat bombs. I'm gonna say right now that, especially this being a scout-centric maps, I think the soldiers on both teams are honestly doing astounding right now, with Marmaloo and Zilly hitting really good rockets on the skis to force him there, and Patty and Jay just hitting amazing rockets as well to get the force and also get the kill on Cookie Jake. It was really good to see that, but
getting mulched by Ash and Brand Slam.
does end up going down there exactly. I think something we've yet to see is forward holds here, actually, but Marmaloo does go for a bomb, but lives with very low HP, does go down to
But they do get the force
Eric
out of
there.
skis.
Really unfortunate, but it is only a 50% ad right now, and they actually are down 3 players, but they're trying to play aggressive here, seeing as how they only have 20 seconds left on the clock, trying to hopefully get this, but Patty chasing all the way into their spawn, doesn't end up actually living there. They have 14 seconds. They're really going to have to push out of here with this. They might end up having right before, it looks like they're opting to push through concrete right now. All of Dorsia rolling out. Both soldiers are in. Zilly trying to get really good damage. But he's also really weak. They need to get on point.
They do
Cookie
use
Jake
their
does end up using their really good cap time there, and they do end up like putting a lot of pressure on. But Skis is looking like he's gonna leapfrog here if they do end up getting this cap time here. Chunky
does go down to Patty. Patty with the great soldier play again. However, that's able to be turned around by Marmaloo as Marmaloo picks up at least 2, specifically Habib. Froyotech still has the point, so they do have the worst spawns. There's no reason for Dorsia not to delay the point, as they do, waiting for all their spawners to get up. And now all of Froyotech's up with 60% Uber ad, while Cookie Jake sits at only 50.
It was amazing picks by Dorsia, but they weren't able to get the med, force, or pick, so Skis is looking like he's ready to get in here. He's milking as much as he can. They're playing off of Cliff right now. Going across the point. It looks like, oh, he ends up dropping!
Too high from Chunky!
Oh, Chunky MVP! But Froyo is doing a ton of damage right now.
Wow. That was a great turnaround coming out of Froyo. They saw their med die, but they all pounced immediately before Dorsia had a chance to set up. And because it was overtime on both sides, it goes to Froyo. What an explosive into a round.
Amazing plays by Dorsia players, but they never end up, winning them the round, which is really unfortunate. But we are going to move into the second mid here. Does look like Habib is a little bit faster than Chunky here, opting to roll out closer to Rock right now. Both soldiers bomb behind. Marmaloo's behind as well. Zilly as well. Bandy getting really good damage, but Eric actually ends up dropping.
Marmaloo gets Skis, and Branson gets Habib. You did see a lot of early aggression coming out from Froyotech, and they did end up getting Chunky out of it as the scouts on Dorsia were playing passive. However, Marmaloo was able to convert that round by getting Skis really early on, meaning Cookie Jake now has about a 60% Uber ad.
Ooh. Looking a little bit scrappy here right now, seeing as Froyotech is getting really, really aggressive here. Patty lives with 1 HP on that bomb, but Cookie Jake does end up using it here, trying to get the kill on Skis. Skis taking... Oh, Skis might actually end up going down here. Ash does end up getting Skis there, but they end up getting bombed. Cookie Jake is caught behind. He has 9 HP. He's getting circled. Oh, no.
But he does get Cookie Jake. Cookie Jake's trying to sneak away, but he just couldn't quite escape Froyotech.
Really unfortunate there, but Froyotech is looking like they're going to re-aggress here, seeing as how Skis was up earlier. Marmaloo does end up trying to get in and get some good damage, but takes a lot of damage himself, so he's forced to back up here. Ash takes a direct pipe as well, going down to 25 HP, having to go back to his medic right now.
Zilly's own sniper. We're getting into the classic product. Sniper time. We're gonna have to see how Jay and Patty elect to deal with this. I expect some high bombs coming in very soon, but Zilly's just sniping from cliff. Patty high bombs all the way to main. Jumps off actually the awning over main. Gets on the cliff.
Cookie Jake. Oh no! Cookie Jake goes down to Habib. Habib gets a 3K, dropping Zilly, Cookie Jake, and Grand Slam there. But he does end up going down to Ash. Marmaloo really weak on the point right now.
We're gonna have to see if Dorsia can actually convert this into a Skis pick. However, we should expect to see a 4-man coming out. Unfortunately, with Zilly on Sniper on top of Cliff. They weren't able to really walk for it, so Patty and Jay were able to have a field day with them in that tight, confined space at the base of Cliff, with Tabib finishing everyone off. Froyo now does take the Uber into them, getting rather deep. However, they don't manage to get any picks. They do end up trading Jay for Marmalou, and they get Zilly a little later, but again, he gets traded out for Eric. As we now see a 4v4, which does favor Dorsia. However, Brandslime, isolated on Cliff, gets picked up by Patty, as now it's just 3 people up on Dorsia. Cookie Jake's trying to escape, very low. Handy does get cleaned up by Banny. Great collapse coming out of froyotech.
I honestly think that it's just down to DM, especially on Koth, and I think that Habib's DM dropping that 3K earlier is just a sign that they are just getting mulched on a lot of their pushes right now. But they have been having a lot of really good pushes as well, but we're just going to have to see what they can do, as Skis does have 70 ad right now. Looks like he's going to hopefully they're building it out right now. Hopefully they're trying to walk forward here right now. Habib getting really aggressive right now. Patty does end up going down to Marmalou. Marmalou gets picked off by Eric. Ash caught out in connector.
Dorsia does cap the point right under froyotech's noses. However, Froyo does have heavy barrage. Jay is incredibly hurt. They pick up Zilly. And now we're going to have to see if froyotech elects to use super. However, it doesn't look like it, as Cookie Jake and Chunky are both really far back. Dorsia looks like they just want to even out the Uber, as they did snag a few seconds off of the clock. However, it is still nearly 2 minutes and 20 seconds compared to froyotech's less than a minute, as the clock continues to dwindle. It's now an even Uber situation. Dorsia's going to have to take this exchange. Hopefully, the post will be in their favor.
Looks like it's just settling into another mid-fight here on Koth. They do end up... froyotech does end up using and forcing Cookie Jake there. Banny goes in for a pick. He does drop his Chunky
right there, which is
and Marmalou there.
Really good eye coming out from Banny. He saw Chunky's positioning. Great fire from Skis, but Banny did see Chunky was out of position, and instead of waiting for Dorsia to take the Uber into them, he decided that he wanted to take an aggressive Uber and is able to kill Chunky off of it, hitting nearly 3 clean shots and not giving Cookie Jake enough time to react and use to save Chunky. And now, as we're in the last 10 seconds, Dorsia is gonna have to repush. They all start going up main. They have a single player pick, with Patty not being in this fight. Marmalou bombs and trying to draw eyes as froyotech does back up, and the scouts start the cap time. Chunky is trying to deny space, and he does a great job of doing it, with Brandslime able to clean up on Banny. However, Zilly does go down, to clean it up for Jay, and Chunky goes down to Patty. This is really not looking good, especially for Dorsia, as they're now down 3. He's having a bit of Uber out as the fight does continue to go on. It's Ash against the world, but he cannot fight both Habib and Eric. Marmalou tries to go in for the salvage, followed up by Zilly. Zilly!
Nice shot, Zilly!
Chunky coming in with good damage. Chunky's doing everything in the world. Oh, but Patty cleans him up, and now it's just Branson. Everybody, Branson can do anything, and no. Jay finishes off the round right there.
I'm telling you, these plays from Dorsia have been amazing. The rockets, the double pipes, the medic drop, the surfing. It's just been, they've had amazing flashy plays, but they just haven't been able to close out any rounds, especially on this map at least. But it's really unfortunate to see that, and it was really close on that hold, but both froyotech soldiers do end up getting in and getting really good damage, ended up cleaning up those last few kills to secure them that second round of the half.
Absolutely.
And it looks like it's settling into the second half of products right now.
I have to say, it doesn't look like they're ready up quite yet, so we have a bit of time to discuss. I do have to say, I know product is traditionally a demo and scout map. However, I love to see what soldiers can get away with. All the high bombs coming up from all the soldiers, Marmalou, Zilly, Patty, and Jay, has just been outstanding to watch. The soldiers are getting away with murder at times, drawing so many eyes to people behind, allowing their team to walk forward, trading off medics left and right. It's been a great game so far, even if the scoreline is 2-0 in favor of froyotech.
I definitely think that every one of these players is amazing to watch. I'm a soldier player, so I love to see amazing soldier plays, and I'm not gonna lie, every soldier in this has just been amazing. They've been doing really good damage and getting away, like you said, with a bunch of stuff, and it's been a lot of fun to see just how much chaos that they've been causing, especially after getting behind them and drawing so many eyes. So I'm really excited to see what, especially Zilly. I think Zilly has been probably the best soldier in the map in the game so far, and I'm excited to see more of what he can do.
Yeah, how about we take a look? Oh, never mind. I was gonna say we should look at the logs, but we're already going to the next half. How about you take this, Smith, since I took the first one of the first half?
All right. So it looks like both teams are coming up here. Looks like Habib is opting to.
Oh.
Looks like Froyo is opting to take the cliff push
Wait.
here. Oh, okay. There we go.
Wait, it was a fake
It
start,
was a,
and now
it was
we're
a
actually
fake start. There we go. Okay.
I'm not too sure what happened there because it looked like both teams were rolling out. Either way, take it away, Jakey.
All right. So it looks like they're opting to push Habib through cliff right now. Trading some good damage. Looks like Jay ends up beefing a little bit of his jump, bumping his head there. Does end up getting caught out, but Eric does get a really good kill on Ash there. Habib does end up going down there to Marmaloo.
Ooh, really solid bomb coming in from Jay. He tries to take out Branslam, not really shooting Cookie Jake, who is right behind him. However, Branslam does clean him up. Patty and Jay had great bombs there. However, they weren't able to convert
Eric.
too much.
Eric gets in, 2 clean beam shots on Cookie Jake, just hides and gets the 3 shots on him, completely mulching him. Oh my gosh, you hate to see it. You love and hate to see those kinds of plays, but
Branslam tries to get in, but he can't do much. Froyotech is death balling right now, protecting skis at all costs. Ash is only 6 health. We're probably going to see Dorsia regroup and set up for a 4-man. Really great play by Eric. I didn't even see him get in until Skis was already getting 2 shots. Not Skis, Cookie Jake.
Alright, so this looks like Marmaloo is coming up onto concrete here. No one sees him. He's going for a high bomb. It's behind them, but Banny does get really good damage on him. Marmaloo playing on concrete right now.
Marmaloo inside.
The trade.
Really good trade coming out. However, it is ultimately beneficial in Froyo because now Dorsia is 4 down, and we're gonna see the classic patented Froyo hold.
It's the first time we've seen it all game, actually. It's kind of surprising. But I think this is the first opportunity they've had where all of them were alive, seeing as how Dorsia has just been at least being able to get in and get 1 good pick every time. But the forward hold doesn't seem like it worked for very long there, seeing as how Patty does end up going down to Ash and they end up getting in here.
Patty bombs forward and actually gets the force on the Cookie Jake. Patty wasn't there for the initial forward hold, dying late after getting traded out with, I think it was Marmaloo at the end of that 4-man. So he does die, but he does bomb in late and gets the force on the Cookie Jake, as now it is ad for Skis as Dorsia tries to refight this. Zilly and Marmaloo both go down, no soldiers for Dorsia. They're playing rather passive as Ash unfortunately tries to take a 2v1. He does get Fanny, but Eric cleans him up in the end. Fanny's now dead, and we do see Froyotech still in control of the point. Dorsia does have better spawns here as Froyotech's just getting aggressive. They know they have that Uberat, and they know they can play with it in their back pocket as Dorsia tries to take their own clip. Zilly's rather hurt, and we still see Dorsia just sitting there, Habib spamming pipes. Marmaloo's in deep behind, as I think a few people are looking at him. He's actually at the red spawn. He tried to fight Banny, getting Eric rather, down to 44 health. However, he does actually buy enough time for Cookie Jake to get Uber. Now we're going to be seeing an exchange soon.
Patty does end up dropping to himself there, but it does look like Cookie Jake is looking to take the exchange here. Running up really good. Skis is kiting really well here. Ends up milking for a long time, but drops Habib in the Uber. No, and drops Jay.
He almost dropped Banny as well. That's a crazy milk. He does use on Banny, the classic for you Uber drop everyone, but then use on Banny. Banny's trying to do all he can. He gets chunky. However, Cookie Jake and Branslam are both safe. Cookie Jake trying to catch up to Branslam to support him in the coming fight. He isn't able to do so, and so Branslam does go down. They do convert the cap, and this isn't looking great for Dorsia. They now have extended their spawns, so going into this next fight, they're going to be down both Chunky and Branslam for a really long time.
Definitely think it was really weird of Skis to milk so long, especially dropping Habib there. But it did end up somehow working out for them there, but Patty does end up going down to Ash here. Ash gets bombed by Jay. Habib's
really getting good damage, but I don't think anyone can really follow up, as Chunky actually overextends trying to follow up on that damage and does go down. Froyotech does swap the class, and we might actually see another forward hold considering the number advantage in Froyotech's favor. Skis is already rotating the concrete by himself with Jay and Patty coming out later. However, they were quite fast as Marmaloo bombs him behind and gets Skis with some clean rockets.
Oh no. Cookie Jake has 100% Uber here. Eric tries to go in for the same shenanigans as earlier, but does end up dying there. Habib is behind. He's probably going to get caught out here. Branslam gets in, gets some really good damage.
Habib's
ends up getting
fighting
the health
for
back.
his life, putting stickies everywhere. He's almost sliver of HP, and Branslam actually secures the kill. We love to see that. And now Froyotech's down a lot. We Dorsia could go for a forward hold, but they look like they're electing not to do so as they are holding on point. Ash a bit aggressive, trying to get some spam damage at the spot where froyotech may be coming from. I expect we're going to see froyotech go for the classic 4-man. Gonna have to see how they want to do this.
This does look like Patty is looking to bomb here from connector. Marmalou does end up meeting him there, gets really good rockets on him. Patty taking lots of damage,
no.
just gets forced out. Absolute denial. Jay does end up getting in, getting behind them right now.
Cookie Jake is trying to play slightly on clip and he goes for the
really good force. Oh man.
Saw Jake coming right at him with the shovel and he said, I don't want this. I don't want to be seen on stream dropping to the market gardener and pops the Uber.
He didn't want to be in Twitch clips. He didn't want to be a Twitch clip. So he ended up forcing there. Jay going out for the classic spoon, and again, Cookie Jake fearing because he knows that he's going to hit that. But Skis does have almost full Uber out here. They're opting to take it through main.
We're going to see Dorsia back up, but Skis wants to use the Uber. I don't know how much they're going to get for this, as Patty does have a good supporting bomb as Jade also tries to go in, but neither of the soldiers are going to be able to follow up. Cookie Jake is at half, and Patty manages to slip and undetected and gets a good rockets off into Cookie Jake. However, there's only 2 seconds left in the clock for froyotech. Is Dorsia going to be able to do much without their medic? They're all on low HP. We're going to have to see some miracle work. froyotech elects to back off, and they're probably going to heal up before they recontest with their better spawn wave. Cookie Jake is up. I imagine this is going to be rather rough for Dorsia, as none of them are extremely healthy. Chunky specifically only being at 50. Without that early demo aggression, it's going to be really hard to deny froyotech from taking the space.
It looks like they're playing really passive here, and looks like they're actually starting to walk forward. Zilly gets a really beef bomb, and Habib actually ends up air piping him, but he kills himself in that push. They drop 3 players, 4 players. Dorsia 5 players. Cookie Jake is really weak. Is end up getting cleaned up by Eric, and that is round 1.
It looks like Cookie Jake. It looks like Cookie Jake wanted to take the melee fight with Eric there, but Eric didn't want it. So Cookie Jake typed fear in the chat. All right, let's see how this next mid is going to play out. We see Chunky and Habib both rolling out. Chunky getting pretty good sticks onto Habib early on. Really good damage on Habib actually. That's because he's going to have to spin the mid, tanking his medic. We see the soldiers both bomb in from froyotech. Jay is getting mulched as Patty tries to follow up, low health himself. However, he does get great rockets onto Chunky, and unfortunately the scouts on Dorsia both went down. Neither are going to be able to finish off or deny the soldier aggressive early enough. So now we see that Banny, Eric, and Skis all on the cap, just positioning themselves, looking at what's happening. Both with their swords out actually, as they look around, looking to deny anything that may have spot them.
Alright, so it does look like Skis does have full Uber, or actually only 40 ad here, seeing as how it looks like
Cookie Jake did live, yeah.
Yeah, Cookie Jake did live there, so Dorsia, it looks like they might end up trying to send a 4-man stack here. Marmalou getting in really deep. No one really actually ends up seeing him there. Do get
good stuff from Marmalou. They get Skis the force.
Chunky goes down too, though, but they do end up getting, they do end up getting that force. So it looks like they're just going to have to wait for these spawns very short because they don't have the point. And once they get those spawns, they're going to be able to take this in and hopefully end up getting Skis here in this push. Skis opting to play really passive here next to their rock.
Ooh, Patty's sniping on China.
Yeah, Patty's actually up on Sniper right now. Let's see what both teams can do. Jay really weak right now.
This is going to be rough coming for Dorsia. They're going to have to bomb their soldiers in much more, sooner than the rest of their comp is able to get forward in order to deny that soldier aggressive. Patty is just playing. Ooh, they end up dropping both soldiers because of it, and Ash tries as well. They finally use the Uber after dropping 3. They're trying to get cap time, but no one's really going to be able to get aggressive. Chunky bombs and trying to get miracle shots onto Skis. He isn't able to finish it off as Cookie Jake and Burnside now back out. The point wasn't flopped, so we're looking at 1:30 seconds on the clock for froyotech with
Marmalou's
no time
getting in.
off.
Marmalou's getting in. No one sees him. He's going to try and salvage.
He's so sneaky.
He's getting in. Hits really good rockets. Oh, he gets the force. Oh, man. Marmalou was so sneaky with it.
I love that poor Marvel. He was crouching right by that box on concrete and manages to slip in just in time. Gets great rockets onto Skis. Gets the force.
Alright, so this looks like Cookie Jake is up on Cliff with Zilly right now. Zilly does start bombing in right now on the Seagull bomb. Jay ends up bombing as well. Gets really good rockets on Ash. Marm is really weak right now, but he hits the rocket on Jay.
Ooh, Brandslam cleaning up both froyotech soldiers. However, Chunky does go down in the process. It looks like Brandslam did leave his combo to help the flank. meaning Chunky did end up losing his life. Now Dorsia's trying to play aggressive. Skeez hoping to fake and trick Dorsia, but they aren't falling for it as they take this double scout Uber into Habib, and they end up picking off him, but they weren't able to get much else. Zilly did go down at the same time, meaning that it is now a slight player edge for Dorsia as Eric had gone down earlier as well. They do flip the clock, meaning that Zilly did spawn, did get delayed. Now we're seeing froyotech with player advantage pushing up.
All right, so it looks like Ash is actually flanking in their spawn right now, trying to get through main. He might be trying to go for the skis pick, but Banny knows that he's behind. He two-shots Banny.
He just rolled that man. Oh my Ash.
Oh, then he gets one shot by Eric. Damn. So close. All right, so it looks like Patty is going to try and take this fight with Marmalou. Marmalou hitting some good damage on them,
Really
but Eric...
Sniper again, playing on trying to deny the space. We do see Skis forcing to that space, being denied, and we now see the exchange actually coming out of Cookie Jake. They do get Skis from it, having a much better Uber as Patty jumps away. Now Patty's trying to clean up and convert the chunky pick. He does get it, but Zilly hits a trick shot on Patty.
Oh, Cookie Jake. Oh, Jay's chasing so... Oh, Cookie Jake loses 20 HP. Oh, man.
Good survivability coming up from Cookie Jake. We love to see that. Unfortunately, Chunky did go down, so he might not be up early enough to deny froyotech's aggression. However, the rest of the team is up, and Cookie Jake has a bit of Uber ad, ready to fight the point once again.
Chaos ensuing on that push, but it does look like Zilly is still playing sniper here. And it looks like all of Froyo is actually on Cliff right now. Both soldiers bomb behind, trying to get some good damage. Patty ends up going down.
Jay does take out Zilly, who is on sniper. Jay's now just standing on China, looking for any spam rockets he can get. His Brandslam has to turn around the deal with him. Ash goes up to help him, but Chunky does go down. With both scouts looking behind to deal with Jay, Chunky doesn't have much support. They end up popping Uber, noting that Skis is a bit out of position. Looks like they're only... Ooh, they do get Chunky, or Habib rather, as they try and chase Skis in. Skis escapes narrowly in the spot.
Marmalou!
But no, Marmalou's in!
He beeps every rocket! No!
Cookie Jake gets down as well. This is disastrous for Dorsia. Skis living and now having full Uber out. We're gonna have to see if the Zilly sniper can do anything about Skis' Uber. However, Eric's on him. There's nothing that can be done at that point.
Rest in peace, those Marmalou rockets. That was their only chance to salvage that fight, but it looks like they're opting to forward hold here now with 17 seconds left on the clock and in this game.
But Froyo's forward holding. Skis ends up using. They're going deep into Dorsia's spawn. We do see Ash sneaking behind, however, he does get taken down by Eric. We're gonna have to see a miracle come out from Dorsia, as it doesn't look like anyone's gonna really be forward enough to get to the point. As Brandslam and Cookie Jake are trying. They manage to tough this point, but Brandslam goes down quickly. Cookie Jake trying to head people. Marmalou just gets 2 picks, however, he was the only one on point, and he goes down, and that's the match.
That's the GGs coming out from Froyo and from Dorsia. Definitely not going to say I didn't expect it, but I think that these, to be honest, both of these maps were in Froyo's best interest, seeing as how one of them is Goalie Wash being on one of their most DM-centric players and having their own patented hold on one of these specific maps. It's definitely no question as to how they were able to 4-0 Dorsia here, but we did see a lot of great gameplay and it was a lot of fun to watch, so I'm definitely not upset about the outcome.
Yeah, I have to say, the Market Gardener Force is a new one I've seen. I've been playing TFT for a hot minute, and that's one I just haven't seen quite yet. At least not in recent memory.
I've actually seen that happened in one of my games, but it was it's definitely not a normal thing. I think the only time you ever really want to force to one of those is when you know they're gonna hit it, and when you see Jay, that man in the air with the gardener, you know he's gonna hit it. So you know you have to pop there. You're gonna drop to the gardener, and you don't want to show up on Twitch clips as the man who drops to Jay's gardener. So I definitely think that he was in the right to pop in that instance there.
With that, do you want to take a look at some logs?
All right, so we do end up seeing... Wow, I didn't even realize Skis dropped on that one. Dorsia did end up having a lot of first caps, but they did end up losing a lot of that. Let's see Banny's KD. Eric went 38 and 13.
Eric played
he almost dropped 40
well.
Man,
yeah,
especially on that flank play when he got that really good 2-shot on Cookie Jake. It was a really good pick.
Yeah, great DM coming out of Eric and Banny, a classic scout combo. He did see actually. It does look like Chunky ended up out DMing, or out damaging rather, Habib. However, it was at the expense of his own life many times with Chunky going 12 and 21. It looked like a lot of time he was exchanging his own positioning for damage. But at a similar note, something I did notice coming out of Dorsia's scouts is they would turn around to deal with, say, Jay or Patty behind, and Chunky either wouldn't take note of it or would try and just deny forward aggression from Froyo, and that did cost him his life quite a few times.
But I mean, we see 389 DPM on Banny, almost 400 DPM on a scout. Even though Eric was definitely the one fragging, Banny was in no question had the best DPM that game, even
Oh
out
yeah.
DPMing both demos on that. Really crazy seeing that from Banny and them. Both every scout had over 300 DPM,
Oh yeah,
so
man.
definitely really good scout play.
I think that all the scouts on the teams were doing really good jobs denying the soldiers, putting pressure on demos. They took really good Ubers into each other's teams when the time arose. It was just scout time. That is just product scout the map. And I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's true.
I think that while we can obviously like say Eric and Banny had amazing games, I think Brandslam and Ash also did rather well, even if I know Ash went even. However, Brandslam going 29 and 15 is nothing to scoff at.
That's definitely not. He did have better frags than Banny, and actually, did have really good DPM as well. So, um, I don't know. I mean, Banny did have 21 assists though. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. That's kind of crazy. I think definitely the most interesting parts of this game are when the crazy plays are happening, and I definitely think that this game was not a game that lacked those crazy plays. So it was definitely a lot of fun to watch all of the shenanigans and chaos that was ensuing in these games. But definitely, I think the soldiers on both teams were the MVPs of this game, seeing as how they were both able to do amazing work on both maps. Zilly, I think, definitely being one of the best soldiers in the game, or in this game in particular, seeing as how he was able to get so many forces and really good kills on skis as well. So it was a lot of fun to watch him do his work.
Yeah, I have to say, I've only ever known Zilly as a medic main, so it was really exciting to see what all he could do on Soldier. Definitely making it known that he's worthy of this top 4 invite Soldier spot. Even still, I was excited to see all that Marmalou was able to get away with. We did see him having that small beef at the last bit of the match.
Oh,
However, everything else in the match, he had so many good picks
that
on the skis, just
that
getting
hurt
away
my
with
heart.
all he could.
Yeah, it hurt my
Yeah.
heart to see that beef because I knew that he could do it. I think Skis was just playing the mind games too good, and he
Skis,
was
yeah. Skis' mechanics are nothing that we should discount. Skis
yeah,
is honestly one of the most mechanically gifted medics in the division. Same with Cookie Jake.
yeah, definitely. I think so too. So
Overall, this is a great match to watch. Even if the scoreline was rather dominant for Froyo, it had a lot of good back and forth moments with both teams making really exciting plays.
definitely, I definitely thought that Dorsia could have taken one at least one round off of Froyo in product. I thought it definitely looked like it was gonna be what's it called because on that last round it looked like they might have been able to take that round if Marmalou did end up killing Skis there, but it was unfortunate that he ended up beefing that. But it is what it is. That's the game of TF2, especially on Soldier.
Oh
so
yeah.
so
Soldier's just kind of the sadness when you can't quite finish off a pick on someone that. Because it doesn't look like Skis had initially seen him, and Marmalou did kind of beef that first rocket, but after that, it was just Skis City as he really he really juked Marmalou quite well.
yeah, I definitely agree.
All right. Well, is there anything more you want to say about the match?
I don't think so. I think we said everything I needed to. So
All right. You want to give anyone any shout outs before we head out?
uh nah, I think I'm okay. I was thinking about it, but I think I'm okay for now.
Fair enough. I do want to give a shout out to my friend Walrex and Antecedent. I don't know if they're still watching, but they're the homies.
Yes, sir. Walrex is a homie. He's a good homie.
We love Walrex.
We
All
love
right.
Walrex.
All right. Well, I'll let you close this out, Jakey.
All right, so this was the froyotech versus Dorsia first round of playoffs. It was the quarterfinals, and it looks like Dorsia is going to be sent down to the lower bracket. Froyotech continuing their dominance in the division. Thank you all for tuning into Team Fortress TV, and we'll see you guys next time.